What's up, Storm Chaser? Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm on just a little bit early. Apologize for all the noise in the background. That's just how it is around here in my house. Mark Williams, what's going on, man? Hope all is well. This light is it's a little too bright for me. There we go. Whew. Anyway, jumped on a little bit early, so I'm gonna give just a little bit extra time for everyone to kind of join, and we'll get started this evening. Thanks so much, everyone, for taking time out of your busy day and joining. I really appreciate it. Storm Chaser, I've not been out too windy. Yes, man, it's been windy every single day. 20, 30, gust 40, and I don't know if it's gonna change. It's just that time of year, but eventually it'll stop blowing and it'll be 105, and we'll be begging for that wind back. That's how it goes. Paul, Gwen, thanks for being here. Good evening from Chattanooga. Thanks so much for stopping in, Paul. Hope all is well. My buddy's messaging me. We've been doing some Google Earth scouting. For some reason, I have not had the best version of Google Earth on this MacBook. I'm not a big fan of this MacBook, to be honest. But I was able to download that. Now I can go back in time and look at all that stuff. So, Turi, thanks for being here. Okay, let me get a question in while we wait. Have you heard of lake crappie spawning sooner than stock pond crappie? You know, Terry D. Okay. Oh, you're good, man. You're good. Man, so Terry, I can't say that I've necessarily heard that, but I can definitely see a set circumstance having that happen. It depends on a few things. How deep is that pond? I don't know, to be honest. I would like to know. I don't fish enough stock ponds and things like that to know when they spawn, but I know crappie spawn on a big lake pretty earlier than many realize. There'll be some fish spawning late February, early March if the conditions are right in the creeks. Now they're not going to be spawning on the main lake that early, but they'll spawn out deep or not deep, out in the creeks during that time. Let's see. Storm Chaser and Red Lake Ray just put new lithium batteries on my boat. There you go, man. Yeah, that's going to help a lot. Daniel Groves, thanks so much for being here. Appreciate it, man. Looking forward to our trip. Appreciate it. Greg Martinez, thanks for being here. Storm Chaser says depth is the main thing for crappie and to catch crappie. Terry, I asked you to catching 10 last week and 8 had eggs. So you're talking about in the pond? You caught them with eggs? Or on the lake? I'm also gonna do something a little different on here. So I'm gonna start doing this on my lives. I think this is a good practice to get into. So I just want to just kind of go over how do I put it. I have some new channel members, and so you guys, if you're interested in this is this is another way to support me. Obviously just watching the videos, things like that is great support, but you can also be a channel member, and I'm also gonna put a link for that. I'll put a link for that in this here in a bit, but this is another good way to support the channel. I'm gonna go over highlight those who are members. Brian Wasson, Daniel Groves, thanks so much for being here tonight, man. Craig Brabson, Fishing with Fredo, great guy. And then Patricia Jones, Patty Jones, Jeff Jones, thanks so much, y'all. That really helps me out. You guys have no idea how important that is and how much that helps. It doesn't seem like it's a lot, but it's a lot to me. And so I just wanted to go over that real quick. But thanks so much for becoming members, and there's some perks listed on there, and then also any giveaways I do, I automatically enter you in with a if you're a member. And let me see. Give me 1 second, y'all. We're kind of multitasking here. Oh, my wife changed her picture on here. I was like, who is this? There's the link if you want to join. Just another way, like I said. Terry noped the pond and the female had eggs. You know, that would not surprise me. So I think crappie are pretty similar in ponds and lakes. I think they, for some reason, not all of them spawn. And that could just be those fish never felt comfortable, maybe too much rain, cold fronts coming in and out. There's a lot of reasons those fish won't spawn. Like I'll catch fish on the main lake with eggs all the way into June. And that's pretty common. Late May, early June still have some eggs. It's pretty common. And a lot of times they get to where they just start reabsorbing those eggs. And so what that means is those fish have spawned all they're going to spawn. They don't feel comfortable, and so they're just going to reabsorb those eggs. You know, those fish, they can't afford to lose that nutrients, and so they just reabsorb them. I see it quite a bit, especially if the eggs are not real yellow. They're kind of white. They kind of look faded, things like that. They tend to be absorbing them back. Stephen Hawkins, hello from Commerce, Texas. Hope all is well. Thanks for the video, sir. Oh, thank you so much, Stephen, for watching and being here tonight. I really appreciate that. I haven't been live in a while, you guys. Like I've said in the past, I don't want to go live every single week if I don't have anything to talk about. I feel like that can get super repetitive. I'm not doing, giveaways every live or, anything super interactive like that. If I did this every week, I feel like it would just get boring, and I don't want it to be boring. So I want to kind of make it a special occasion type thing where I hop on here, especially if I'm seeing some changes or if maybe some things are switching up or, something like that. I really want to kind of make it a special thing. And so maybe one day we get to a point, if I, get to travel some more, things like that, I'll be able to have more reason to go live a little more often. So let's see. Stephen Hawkins, heard they would also spawn in deep water. True or not true? Yes, Stephen, they will spawn in deeper water. And Gary, thanks so much for being here. Appreciate it, man. Jerry, I always do this. I can't remember if it's Jerry or Gary. Oh man, I'm getting old. But they will spawn in deeper water. So I would say right now, you can find fish spawning deep right now. You'll be able to find fish spawning deep all the way into June, believe it or not. I've caught fish on the dam in June spawning in like 5-6 foot of water. And for me, I don't know, this might be different for everyone, but for me, I'd consider spawning deep, I consider 5 foot or more. So if they're, 3-4 foot, I wouldn't consider that deep, but more than 5 foot is deep for me for the spawn. Gary, okay, there you go. Thanks, man, for being here. Appreciate it. Hope work's going good. Hopefully I can make your work day a little easier, a little more fun. But yeah, that will happen, and we're gonna get to the point. It seems to me like that deep spawn, which makes sense if you think about it. So early in the year, the deeper the water, the cooler it is. And so it makes sense to why I see a lot of the deeper spawning stuff happening later in the spring, like April, May. It's because that water down 5-10 foot hasn't warmed enough until that time for them to spawn. They can't spawn in 40-degree water. They need it to be that 60, 65, 70-degree water. So makes sense. David Jones. Hello from Indy. You got a real good show. Appreciate that, David. I really, really appreciate that. I work really hard on these videos, and we can just we'll just steamroll off of that, and we'll go into this kind of the admin stuff. So, not admin stuff, but we'll just start getting into everything. So, the channel update, you guys. So I had put a post out about this a little bit ago. We're in that time of year for me when my views start really, really dropping off. for YouTube, and they definitely have done that. This last video, crappie video I put out, is doing pretty good. But outside of that, the views are really, really low. And that is probably because, one, I've been super heavy on the white bass this year. You guys, I put out a lot of white bass content this year for a good reason. The crappie have been tough for me this year. And I know a lot of people I've talked to, they've said the same thing, especially just out and about on the creek banks. You know, I see a lot of people, talk to a lot of people, and I've heard the same thing from them, that the crappie just, for whatever reason, they didn't show up, or maybe, you know, it was less numbers and things like that. And that's what I've found. So like every time I would go white bass fish, I would go try for crappie, you know, before that, or go try for crappie another day, and I would get skunked. You know, and I don't mind putting out skunk videos here and there, but I don't want to be skunked every single time I'm putting a video out. And so it just became not productive for me. And, you know, I don't have, yes, I am full time, but I don't have 7 days a week to be out looking for fish. I don't. You know, I have 2 boys. My oldest needs more care than most his age. And so, you know, I mean, I have a wife, I have a full life outside of that. So I can't spend 7 days a week on the water. As much as I'd like to, I can't. And so it just got to be where I would go out for these crappie, not get anything, not get any content, and not get paid. I don't make no money when I don't catch fish. And so I'd go catch white bass, or go to white bass fish and just wear them out. And to be honest, I enjoy the white bass fishing. That creek stuff, I really, really enjoy. And over the years, I've become more and more toward them and less towards crappie in the springtime. Crappie are just too wishy-washy. Yes, Stephen Hawking, just like you said, they're hit or miss. And it's tough for me to line it up. It just seems like it never lined up. The video I put out of me catching crappie was like one of the first days of the spring that things lined up, and I caught the fish where they were supposed to be at the right time and caught them pretty good. But that has not been the case. Anyway, so that's where I'm at. I'm to the point now to where I'm going to put videos out. I'm not going to never not put videos out, but the volume's going to slow down. The volume is going to slow down. It's going to be, I don't know, the schedule is going to be a little different, and I just wanted to kind of give a heads up. I don't want anyone to think that I've just kind of quit or anything like that, but that's where we're at. Happens every time about this time of year. Usually for me, I can still get some views in April, but this year it just has not happened. And I'm not gonna, it's just not worth the effort. So I'm gonna kind of pick and choose where I film. I'm actually getting lake breakdowns ready, you guys. So if you're interested, just shoot me an email. I'll put my email in here. Give me 1 second. These lake breakdowns, I'm not hyping these up for no reason, you guys. They're so good. If you need information on where to catch fish on these lakes, you're not gonna beat, without taking a guide trip, you're not gonna beat this. You're just not. I'm putting too much effort into it. I'm giving up too much good stuff. And, you know, that's just the reality of it. So I'm going to launch these 5-1. I'm working on them. I've already got one ready. I'm going to, little by little, I'm going to be getting them put together. I'm taking more time on the editing, more time, more detail, breaking it down a little bit more. And, yeah, so just bear with me on these. I'm telling you, these are worth every single penny. And I don't say that lightly. Charlie Ham, thanks for being here, man. I hope all is well. Daniel Groves, that's a good question. Is it the breakdowns just for bank fishing too, or just boating? Right now, so these right here are for the summertime bite, and these are gonna be for boat fishing. Unfortunately, the crappie in the summertime get, I would say, pretty much impossible to catch from the bank. There's very specific set of circumstances you got to have in the summertime to have fish come in close enough to the shore where you can catch them. And that doesn't happen very many places or very often. And so I hope to be able to do some kind of bank breakdown stuff. I don't know what I'm gonna do on that, but I wanted to do some of that stuff this winter, this fall, and it was just met with a lot of what is the word? Just a lot of it just wasn't perceived well, and I felt like I had a lot of like comments that didn't, that just made me second guess it for a little bit, and I think it's one of those things that I'm gonna have to figure out. I don't know if I'm gonna have to take some guide trips doing that or how I'm gonna do that. But for right now, Daniel, they're gonna be lake on the main lake in a boat breakdown. I mean, you don't have to have a boat. You can have a kayak. You can have a float tube. This is just main lake crappie stuff in the summer. And the summer breakdowns, in my opinion, are the most bang for your buck, because the summer breakdowns are good from pretty much May 1st, all the way through the end of October. And 1st of November, depends on how fast it cools off, but I mean, that's what, May, June, July, August, September, October, 6 months of valuable information. And that's why I really, really like these summer breakdowns, because I feel like you get so much for your money. So I'm going to be launching those pretty soon. Charlie Ham, are we about ready for dog shooting? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm actually going out later this week to look, but it's time. I know they're there somewhere. It's just more of about that wind. That wind is honestly the reason I haven't been down there yet. And so I'm going to Cedar Creek later this week. And that's one of the best dock shooting lakes in the state for sure. Just how the docks like sit, just how they fish, just the amount of fish they hold is just so much better than on some of the other lakes I've seen. So yeah, Charlie, I'm gonna go down there and look pretty soon. And I know it's on. Just if we can get this wind to lay down for 3 or 4 days, or a week or two, man, we can go down there and just wear them out. And that's what I'm gonna go do. I'm gonna go look for some fish out of the wind, and that way, no matter if it's windy or not, I can still get down there and get some fish. So let's see. Yeah, Charlie, man, it's been bad this year. It feels like this year for some reason has been a little worse, but I mean, it just, maybe it seems like that, but it definitely has been blowing a lot this year. Bray, I'm at the creek right now and nothing. Oh man, yeah, it's the creek. Oh, and that's another thing. So for me, this is where we're kind of at. So I'm all over the place, I know, but my mind's just. Anyway, so the DFW bite. This is where we're at, in my opinion. The white bass run. The white bass run is at its very tail end. You can still go out right now to certain creeks and catch white bass and hybrids in the creeks. You can. But in my opinion, that peak was about that second, third week of March. That for me was the peak. That was when I was catching the most numbers, the most size, the most females and males mixed in. It just seemed to me that is when the white bass thing was really kind of rolling, Now, right now, like I said, you can catch some, but it's not enough for me to justify filming that. And to be honest, like I said, the views aren't there for me right now doing that. So even though there are some fish there and I could go catch them, it's not productive for me. It's not profitable for me to do that right now. So I'm not doing that. I'm really transitioning to these crappie. The crappie for me are pretty much, there's crappie in all stages. There's some crappie that have not spawned at all. There are some crappie that are spawning right now. There are some crappie that have done spawned and they're out post spawn spots. Now, that's the thing with the crappie right now. They're so scattered out. Now, as we get closer and closer to May and get into the summer, May, June, it forces those fish to get done spawning, and then that heat will push them back out deep, and they're just going to get around brush piles, docks, all the same stuff, timber bridges, and so that's kind of where we're at right now. There's some fish coming out, but it has not been hot enough, long enough to push them all the way out. So that's why dock shooting is really good, and that's why these fish, that's why May, when these breakdowns get done, it's gonna be perfect time because these fish are coming out there to these places. And so for me, yes, I'm gonna do more bank crappie stuff. Yes, I'm gonna do boat crappie stuff. I'm gonna try to mix it up as much as I can, but just the volume of videos is gonna drop off. You guys, I'm putting so much effort into these breakdowns. I mean, I'm gonna be on the water for probably, my goal is to go to these lakes, work breakdown stuff, try to film if I can, but there's some days when I'm just gonna be up at the lake, just full on working on these breakdowns. So that's part of why these videos are going to slow down. It's just there's some days I'm going to be out there and I'm not going to get no content. I'm just going to be out there working. So let's see. David Jones going to Fremont, Wisconsin the weekend after Mother's Day last year. We caught 600 white bass. Oh man, nice. Yeah, they run way late up that way, David. That is for sure. Greg Martinez, I bought a lake breakdown from you. That's very good information. I really recommend it. Thank you so much, Greg. Appreciate that. Clint, there he is. Louisville's the best crappie lake in DFW. You got that right, man. Louisville is the GOAT. Television pilot, wind's been stupid for sure. Yeah, it has. Mark Williams, I'm sticking to the creeks till May since all the wind. Day of the eclipse, I was catching pre-spawners in the creek. Waiting is done for the year for me. Oh, man. Yeah, the creeks will definitely offer some protection for sure. Heck yeah, David. Heck yeah, Greg. I'm like looking all over the place. I'm glad to hear they're working for you, man. So I'm gonna do these breakdowns a little different. So they're gonna be the new one, the updated ones are gonna have more information, more waypoints, and these are natural waypoints. These are not anyone's personal brush piles or anything like that. I'm putting in there. These are natural places that hold crappie that I've caught, and more detail. I'm throwing in some navigational stuff, you know, places to not hit stumps and things like that. And they're going to be 150, and that's just me. Just if you got to have a Google account, and I will send you a link to a private video, and only you'll have access to it, and all the information will be on there. You can watch it as many times as you want, pause it, do whatever you want, and that'll be there. And then I'll also still offer the old lake breakdowns for $100, and then I'll knock off $50 if you've ordered one of the old ones. If you want to buy a new one, the updated one, I'll knock $50 off that. So you know, I have everyone's email in there, so I'll be able to see who bought what. And so I don't know, I feel like honestly I could probably charge more for these, but I think that's a good price point. I want these to be less than a guide trip, but still, you know, enough for me to recoup some of that money that I've spent. I've spent these breakdowns right here. I'm actually spending more money on, if you catch my drift. Terry, Charlie, I know that lake. Good below the dam. Yeah, I have heard that too. Outdoor adventures. How long are the crappie accessible from the bank, and when do they move deep? Mid-May. Yeah, outdoors. I'd say that's a good time frame for me. About mid-May. They'll kind of push out. It really just honestly depends on how fast it gets hot. When I mean hot, like when that water starts getting 75, 80 degrees is when those fish really start pulling away from all that stuff. I definitely think mid-May is a good time. There'll be shallow fish. There'll be some shallow fish in early May. I mean, but for sure, mid-May is about when, for me, it starts to slow down. Rumblebee, I'm in San Antonio on the Medina. I just can't find them. Big panfish, but no bass. Oh man, yeah, I'm not sure about bass. I have no idea about bass. But so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do some of the admin stuff. So again, you know, if you want to become a member, great. The super chat icon is there as well. It's another way to support the channel. You can make donations as well. Cash App. See, my wife will might put that in if she's not too busy with the boys. But you guys, if you're interested in a trip, if you're interested in a trip, my website's not working fully right now, and I'm working on that. But if you're interested in a trip, I definitely would recommend, especially if you want a weekend day, I would definitely recommend reaching out to me pretty quick. Just shoot me an email, shoot me a message, anything like that, and we'll get you out on the water. So I'm going to be guiding Grapevine, Louisville, Joe Pool, see, Ray Roberts. I don't know if I said Ray Roberts. I'm going to do some trips to Texoma too, and I'm gonna try to hop around a little more this year. I kind of see where I need to focus my energy this summer, and after having done it all summer last year, and so this year I'm going full blast, and I'm gonna offer trips all over the place. I'm gonna offer way more breakdown options, and so I'm optimistic that it's gonna go good. So, but if you're interested in a trip, those weekend days go first. So if you want a weekend day, I definitely recommend reaching out. And so, my prices this year, $250 for one and $350 for two, and these are for 6 hours of fishing. And these are for Louisville, Grapevine, and Joe Pool. I'll have to charge a little more. We'll probably do $50 more for Texoma, Cedar Creek, Ray Roberts. I'm not real sure. It just kind of depends on the area of the lake we fish on Ray Roberts. But yeah, if you're interested, like I said, just shoot me an email. White bass, Rebel B means. Okay. Yeah, I think I would say down that way, definitely a lot further along than we are up here in DFW. But like I said, all those ways are there to support the channel, and really can't thank y'all enough. We've kind of, so I've been doing this for a full year now. I kind of feel like I know a lot more for sure than what I did this time last year. I didn't know what to expect. This year I kind of know what's coming. I kind of know when things are going to slow down. By the way, go Mavericks. We're in the playoffs. I think they start Sunday or Saturday. I'd have to look, but we're gonna face the Clippers. So, yeah, we're gonna be ready for that. Go Mavs, and Luka is the MVP, by the way. But so, yeah, we're gonna try to see where I left off now. Go Stars too. Hey, that's one thing. I'm born and raised here in DFW, so it is not in my blood to go against any Dallas team. So that's just me. I'm a Cowboys, Mavericks, Stars, Rangers, any team from here I root for. So, but so yeah, so the crappie are, you can catch them, especially like rocks. For me, the crappie, I think, are a little, they've kind of pulled out of the creeks. You can definitely still catch them in the creeks, but me, if I was looking for crappie right now, I'd be on the main lake. I'd be in the back of coves, any areas that have riprap, rocks, things like that. Those crappie are going to be spawning on. If they're not spawning on, they're going to be very close to that area. And then also, we've got a shad spawn getting ready to start. So shad spawn happens usually that last week of April, first week or two of May, but I feel like it's a little early this year. That's one thing, you guys. So this whole run this year has been a little early. I was catching limits of white bass in mid-February, middle of February. So I think, we're 2 months from that. It's been 2 months. So I think a lot of that's why that stuff's kind of, going away. Yes, television pot, flooded grass, sticks, anything like that in the water. Timber, they'll spawn on the tops of timber. I mean, just they'll spawn on the tops of cross members on bridges if you can get to them from the bank. Just anything like that. They are gonna be spawning on the main lake, and they're gonna be there for a while. And I would say till about mid-June, depending on the lake, or mid-June, mid-May, depending on the lake, and that's where we're gonna be at. Hey Matt, thanks for being here, man. Does that kill the bite, the shad spawn? No, you know. So for me, I feel like it kind of that shad spawn is a super early deal. It's a small window, and it's early in the morning enough to where I feel like they're feeding pretty heavily. So believe it or not, you can catch some pretty good crappie on that shad spawn early in the morning. I know for me in the past, I would get, this is going way back now. I don't even know how old I was. I couldn't drive for sure. I'd have to really think about that, but I'd get up super early, get dropped off at the lake before the sun would come up. I'd be out there with my cast net getting all the shad, because the shad are there before the sun comes up. Excuse me, but it's like when the sun comes up, all the fish feed real heavy for a little bit. And so I would get all the shad and everything ready to go, and then I would, you know, get a minnow hook and just hook a little thread fin on there, throw a bobber out, and I'd catch crappie, white bass, catfish, every largemouth. That's a really fun way to fish, and it takes me back to being a kid. But yeah, it's a really fun way to fish, and that bite doesn't last very long. So I don't think it lasts long enough for it to hurt the bite. It's such a small window. It's early in the morning. Now after that, it might be a little slow because everything fed real heavy for a little bit, but I haven't really noticed a big difference. Wesley Hayes, thanks for being here, by the way. Bray, good stuff though on your content. I've been enjoying everything about it. Keep it up. Appreciate that. And like I said, I've been really heavy on the white bass this year for good reason. And, you know, I apologize. For some reason this year, I've just got so many negative comments about that. And that's fine. You know, I'm doing what I enjoy as far as, like, I enjoy the creek stuff. That's why I do it. It's not easy, but I really enjoy that. And so I think, you know, I hope with time that'll catch on. It's a very short window. Like, I mean, it's already done. It's a month and a half out of the year, and it's really, really fun. And it's a super easy access area. You know, just walk the bank and catch a lot of fish. So appreciate that. Yeah, if y'all could hit that like button. YouTube really likes that. So yeah, if y'all could do that, I would appreciate it. But yeah, you guys, we are pushing on up to almost 17,000 subscribers. That is crazy to me. Yes, I'm not growing super fast as some of the other channels. That's fine. You know, I want to do things my own way. I want to grow my channel the right way, and I know that's going to take time. I would be lying to y'all if I said I didn't get discouraged at times, because I do. The YouTube grind is so underestimated. Yes, it is. Yes, I get to fish for a living, but it's different. I don't know how to describe it. You know, like, there's so much pressure. When I go out, I got to catch fish, put them on film. I got to do different things. I got to appeal to everyone. And so I enjoy it. I really, really do. And, you know, that's why I do it. I enjoy it. But for sure, it kind of gets, you know, it gets old after a while. Just especially the bank stuff, the crappie. Like, I go out and get skunked 4 or 5 times in a row. It gets really discouraging, really hard for me to get up and I gotta go look again, you know. And I would be lying to y'all if I didn't say I didn't get discouraged. But that's one thing with me, just with how I was raised and my circumstances, things like that, is I'm just very hardworking. Put my head down. I'm going to get there. Now, I don't know when, but I'm going to get to where I want to get. And so that's what I tell myself. I work so hard. I feel like I work harder than anybody. And that's just my mindset. And honestly, that's the mindset you got to have, because this YouTube is just not, it's not what everyone thinks it is. Yes, I make good money at times off of it, but I work for every penny I make. Byron, there he is. What's up, man? Thanks for being here. Appreciate that, Bray. Wesley Hayes. Crappie have been in and out the past week on Loserville. A lot of smalls, but they're going to hit. And the dock will produce for a while. Nice, man. Yeah. I haven't been to Louisville in a little while, but I will be getting out there pretty soon. I got to do some lake breakdown stuff out there. But yeah. I think Louisville, don't get me wrong, Louisville's a great lake. I mean, I enjoy fishing Louisville. Is it my favorite lake? No. But it does have some good crappie in it. It just, I don't know, it just does not fish the same it did several, 8-10 years ago. And, I just keep repeating that, but that's true. And I see a lot of, I'll see guides go to different lakes to catch crappie, and I don't blame them, crappie. I mean, I can run successful crappie trips on Louisville, but it seems to me like it's twice the work as it is on other lakes. And so that's one thing to keep in mind. Appreciate that, Daniel. Appreciate that, man. Fishing with Camo Joe, there he is. Y'all be sure to check out, as always, what's another thing? I don't work with a lot of companies, but the companies I work with, the people I work with, I'm really, really big about. And so y'all be sure to check out Camo's Custom Hand Ties. Camo Joe makes some really great jigs. And let me see. He makes some really great jigs, and he's a great guy. So I'm gonna link him here. And yeah, y'all be sure to check him out. B&M Poles right here. B&M Poles is such a huge supporter as well. One of the best crappie, in my opinion, the best crappie rod in the crappie company, crappie rod on the market. They've been around forever for good reason. Y'all know me. I was buying B&M crappie rods way before I ever started working with them, and so that's a true definition of being loyal, in my opinion. I really do genuinely enjoy their products, their rods. And then Flop Box as well. Flop Box as well, you guys. I'm getting ready to I got my Flop Box out here right now in the garage. It's getting ready to come back out. We are getting ready to get back on that summer bite, get those minnows out, and that Flop Box is going to be right there. Let's see if that goes through. And then also with the Flop Box, you guys, I'm going to put my code. If you guys are interested in a Flop Box or anything like that, be sure to use my promo code. I have a promo code with them, Kid Crappie 10. Check out. And that'll save you some money, and that will also give me a little bit of money. And I think I put that wrong. There's no space in there. There we go. And that's another way to support the channel. I get so much off of that, and save you a little money at the same time. So really would appreciate that. And then also my latest addition to sponsor, David at Shut Up and Fish. And now that I'm getting ready to be on the boat, I feel like I'll be able to showcase that producer a little more. You guys, that producer is going to be, it's a game changer. It really is, especially for how I fish and what I do. So y'all be sure to check him out. Great guy. He's going to steer you in the right direction with everything. Super knowledgeable. And y'all be sure to tell him Kid sent you. But yeah, thanks so much for all the companies that support me. I get turned down a lot. Got turned down a couple more times this week, but that's not going to stop me. We're going to keep on keeping on, right? It's one thing, if you quit after a few bumps in the road, what are you going to do, right? But yeah, so yeah, Matt, yeah, for sure, you're going to get to see it in action. For sure, you're gonna like it. I think you'll, compared to my old setup, man, it's night and day for sure. Camo Joe, do I have any merch? No, I do not, man. But just bear with me, you guys. I'm gonna work on some stuff like that. I've got a lot of wheels turning in my head up here. I just need time to get it all together. And I'm gonna try to work on that. A rubber boot sponsor is what I need. Yeah, those boots I have, they've been pretty rough, but It's funny you mentioned that. Flop Industries has actually came out with a new boot, and I'm hoping to get a chance to try those out pretty soon. Let's see. Let's see. That's one thing, you guys. The Flop Industries, they're really coming out with great stuff. Um, and that's not me just hyping them up for no reason. I guide with that cooler every single day, and that thing does not. Deck boots. Okay, that's what they're, deck boots. They're not rubber boots per se, but they actually came out with a bigger flop box as well, so they're getting it for sure. Oh, you're good. You're good, Camo Joe. You're good, man. I'm just really, I don't want to be super pushy on here. I don't want to push things onto y'all. I want the main emphasis of this channel to be the fishing, the information, things like that. Just how the bite is here in DFW. I feel like I'm one of the few YouTubers or few fishermen, and I don't know about fishermen, but one of the few YouTubers in DFW that kind of has my finger in everything, if that makes sense. Like I do a little bit of dock shooting, I do a little bit of creek fishing, I do white bass, I do things like that, and so I really kind of pride myself on that I don't just do one thing, I do a lot of things, and I hope that appeals. I want to have something on the channel that appeals to everyone. Whether you can't stand white bass, I'm going to try and put crappie stuff out and things like that, but I really want to kind of grow the channel as much as possible before I start putting out merch and things like that. That's a big thing to take on, and then as well with my jigs as well. If you're interested, you guys, I still have jigs. I don't know how I forgot to mention that, but I still have jigs. I sell those. I'm really trying to just branch out into a lot of things, and I've got a lot of things in my mind. I just need time to get it all kind of taken care of. And honestly, the summertime, I'm going to be consumed with guiding, and that's not. I'm not saying it in a negative way. It's just guiding to me, and that's one thing I struggle with in general. Is there's some out there that how do I put it? There's a lot of things that go into all this. So for me, one thing I struggle with is if I go film, let's say I go film a white bass bank trip in the spring. I'm not really doing anything guiding related. Now next year, I can tell you this. Next year, I think I'm going to take on a few white bass trips from the bank in the spring. That's something I've thought about this year. I've kind of put a lot of thought into it and just feel like I need to do that. And I'm not going to do that a ton, but I am going to offer that next year. And that's just, go walk a bank with me, put you on fish. I'll clean them if you want, and yeah, have a good time. And I think that'll be a good way to kind of offset those low white bass numbers on YouTube. But yeah, it's kind of hard for me to do one or the other, or do both. I'm so committed one way or the other with YouTube or guiding, and I feel like I don't want to do anything halfway, if that makes sense. So I really want to try to I want to try and balance and juggle these things better, and I feel like I've struggled with that this year because, like I said, I don't want to do anything halfway, and so like I'm kind of all in on the white bass, all in on the YouTube, and then I just kind of transition. About this time of year, I transition from all into the YouTube to all into the guiding, and then I still put videos out, but it's not my main thing. Guiding for crappie is the hardest thing you can do as a pro fisherman, in my opinion. guiding for crappie are just, it's so time consuming. They are such finicky fish by nature. They are not aggressive. It's not like guiding for white bass, striper, hybrids. Those are totally different fish. And even catfish for that matter. Crappie are just not aggressive by nature. And it makes it tough to stay on them, and not only stay on them, but to get them to bite. And so I really am like ready to kind of just dive bomb into that, and just just kind of just focus on that, So I'm really looking forward to that. I got upgraded equipment. Thanks so much to David, Shut Up and Fish. I got an Ultrex now. I got a bigger screen. I got the Producer. So I just feel like I'm set up for success a lot more this year. Charlie Hand, film some of your guide trips. That would be fun to see. Yes, and I'm going to try my best to do that too. I know it's one of those things where I don't want to just kind of, I have to know my client really well. Like, I don't want to do that on a first trip with someone that I don't really know. Just because I know I wouldn't want a camera in my face if I was first time taking a trip with someone, and once I feel like now that I've got a few years under my belt, I can kind of see if maybe I can make that happen. I feel like that would be a good insight to my trips. And that's why too, you guys, on these trips, I don't like to fish. I don't fish a lot of timber. I don't fish a lot of open water fish. And that's just because I want everyone to be fishing at the same time. So I like fishing brush piles and things like that. That way I can have both. If I have two people, I can have both sitting up front, both into the fish, catching fish. And so that's kind of my mindset on that. But let's see. Wesley Hayes, brother, I love your videos. You're local to me and you have given an old Arkansas boy how to fish these local lakes for better crappie fishing. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, for sure, Camo Joe, for sure. I think my boat was a little underpowered last year, and it's weird because like I didn't have trouble initially with it. It took it a year or two for me to start noticing that, like, okay, yeah, I'm having trouble moving around. It's killing the batteries because it's working so hard to get there. And to be honest, I don't know. I feel like I had a short. In my trolling motor. I hit it pretty good on the dock one day. I feel like ever since then it wasn't quite the same. And it was just time. It was just time. That trolling motor had a lot of hours on it. And so it definitely was time. But yeah, anyway, anyone got any more questions? DJ Pizza, there he is. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. I got my PB bass on Merval the other day, 11 pounds, 10 ounces. Man, that's a big one. That's a big bass, man. Did you do the share lunker thing with it, where you give it to the Texas Park and Wildlife, or did you mount it, or what did you do, man? That's really good. I think I caught a 9-pound bass. It's probably 2-3 years ago now, out in East Texas, and I caught it in open water. I weighed it. I thought I'd filmed it all, and I did not. And I let it go, and I have no record of it. Sure did, DJ Pizza. Number 4208. Nice. Congrats, man. Congrats on that new PB. That's a big one. That one's gonna be hard to beat for sure. Charlie Ham, you can use me as beta when we go. For sure, man. Sounds good. Sounds good. I appreciate that, Charlie. Fishing with Camo Joe, link for your jigs. Oh yeah, so right now I'm just doing those as let me kind of put those on here. So on my Facebook page I have all like the colors listed on there, but that's one thing with this website overhaul that I'm getting ready to try and do. All right. Oh, why is it just there? Anyway, let me put it on here. Just on my Facebook page. I'm doing it off of there. You can shoot me an email, but That's one thing with this website redo, that I want to have that jig side automated. I don't want to have to do that. I want to have all the colors listed on there and be able to update stock and all that. So it's one thing I'm looking into. So definitely, I'm definitely kind of working on that too, Camo Joe. Parker, thanks for being here. What's your favorite crappie bait? I'm just getting into it and don't know what to start with. Minnows. Parker, man, just like Clint said, man, the jigs is total personal preference. A crappie will bite any jig. It will. It will bite any jig. And I'm not sitting on here telling anyone that my jigs are better than everyone's. My jigs are what I use. It's another way to support me, and they work great for me. I have no problems with them. And, you know, so just honestly pick out some colors that you think looks good. To me, confidence is everything. If you don't have confidence in that bait that you're fishing, you're not going to be successful with it. You're going to be moving around. You're not going to be as patient. You're not going to work it as thoroughly. And so, you know, whether that's minnows, whether that's, you know, a white jig or a green jig, whatever, you know, that is all kind of experimental. But I was just saying that, you know, confidence is everything. So one thing I will say, you know, is you can go out and buy 100 different colors, but I would say stick to one or two, or, you know, just one. I mean, you really don't need a million colors for crappie, in my opinion. In my opinion, I'm not a color guy. I never have been, never will be. I just have a very straight mindset that crappie are going to bite, and they're going to bite whatever color, whatever jig's in front of them, if they're going to bite. So confidence is everything. And, you know, honestly, I grew up fishing minnows. I didn't know how to jig fish growing up. My grandpa taught me to fish, and he was very, very, and even to this day, he's very like, we're not going fishing if we don't have minnows. We need minnows. That's what we're going to use. That's the bait fish they eat. And he's even like that a little bit. I mean, he's like that to this day, says that we have to get minnows, but then after, you know, 5 fish, I'm up on him with a jig. He's reaching over there, hey, can I get a jig? Can I get a jig? But, you know, minnows are good. Just like Clint's saying right here, white shark, black and chartreuse. That's all you need. That's all you need. Wesley, all right, I'm headed down to the dock on Louisville to see what's going on. Nice, man. Hope you get into them. Hope you get into them, man. But, you know, confidence is everything. My grandpa's confidence has always been on minnows. And so that's why he taught me how to minnow fish. That's what we did growing up, was we minnow fished. And I remember one day I remember this day very, very well for some reason, but I was at the Joe Pool fishing barge back in the day. This is back before they moved it to where it was used to be, and now it's completely gone, but this was back when it was good, back in the heyday of it. Abner, thanks for being here. And I remember I was sitting there with minnows, and I would just set a minnow on the side rail and just let it sit there and just wait for the line to take off or the rod tip to bounce or something. And these guys would come in and just drop a jig down and just jig it a few times and boom, catch one. I'm like, what on earth? It just fascinated me. And one day I was like, you know what? I'm going to learn. And so one day I left all my minnows at home, or didn't buy any minnows, left all that. I went to the little store they had. I remember this day very, very clearly. I need to see if I have a picture of it. That'd be even better. But I went in there, and I don't even remember what jig it was. I just went in there and bought some jig heads and a pack of jigs. And I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna put a minnow on here until I catch one on a jig. And sure enough, I sat there for, it feels like forever. And I remember I was jigging it like this. I didn't stop it. You know how, I don't know how that fish even had time to get it. But I was just jigging it like this. And finally one hit it, and I caught him, and I was hooked ever since. And it was that was pretty fun. I actually have a picture of that. I need to find it somewhere, but I'm sitting here like this with the first jig fish I've ever caught. And from there, That was all it took for me. I was hooked ever since. But I didn't have the confidence until that day, and at that day, at that moment, is when my confidence changed, and that's when I was able to pick up jig fishing. And I enjoy minnow fishing. I enjoy everything, really. I enjoy fishing minnows in the summertime. I enjoy jig fishing in the other times of year. I just enjoy it all. I really do. I try not to limit myself, and I'm open to everything. So Matt said grapevine has worked well for him. Yep, grapevine's a good color. I mean, that's the thing. I feel like crappie are very straightforward fish. Like I said, they're gonna. I can tell a lot too based on how the fish is, especially now with live scope, how the fish are, relating to cover, where they're positioned in the water column. Typically on live scope, especially when you see fish on a brush pile, those fish that are higher in the water column, I tell my clients all the time, you see these fish right here, they're right up top. When y'all get y'all's bait down here, y'all better hang on because they're coming after it. And sure enough, like those fish are just ready to go. And that I can just tell, like it doesn't matter what you use at that point. Those fish are just in a feeding position, ready to go. And so you could use the wrong color. I'd have to look at it, but I always mess it up too. But Todd Huckabee has this video, and I'm gonna actually try to find it. Let me see. Give me 1 second. I want to find this video. Let me see. Oh, here it is. All right, so I'm gonna put this video link. I don't do this. I mean, I've never met Todd, but I really have a lot of respect for Todd. Let's see. And so this is him talking about, he says that, you can do everything right with the wrong color, or something like that. I always mess it up, but check that video out if you're interested. It just really, what he says is exactly how I feel about color and crappie fishing and how those two connect, so. Daniel, I don't do a lot of ocean fishing. I don't get to travel very much right now. I'm kind of in a stage of life where I have 2 young boys, and I just do not get to travel very much. But anyway, y'all, I think we're gonna go ahead and slowly start wrapping it up. I don't want to drag this out too much, but I feel like I kind of went over all the stuff that I wanted to go over. So, guiding, I'm still going to do some videos. There's going to be more boat videos and things like that, but just bear with me on that. The summertime for me is the slowest time on the YouTube. It's just the money's not there, the views aren't there, and that's why I kind of transitioned to the guiding. So if anyone out there that is looking for a trip, anything like that, if you're interested in a trip, definitely just reach out to me, and we'll get you out there, get you on fish, and have you have a great time doing it. So all right, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Anyway, thanks so much everyone for taking the time out of your busy Monday evening. I know everyone's busy. Mondays are a busy day of the week, getting back into the grind for the week, and I sure appreciate it. You taking time out of your day to jump on here and chat with me and hang out for a little bit. I don't know when the next time I'm gonna go live is, but I will announce it whenever I do. And sounds good, Charlie. Sounds good. Y'all take care. Take care, Gary. Appreciate it. But yeah, I'll definitely make a note or make it a point to kind of announce this a little bit. I actually announced this a week ahead of schedule, so hopefully I can do that a little more often. But anyway, thanks so much, everyone. Y'all take it easy out there. Stay safe and tight lines. We'll see you in the next one. Y'all take it easy.